right, good morning, fourth graders. And today we're going to talk about a couple of different things. But one of the things that we're going to talk about this morning is a Japanese poem called a Haku. It often talks about nature, but there are only 3 lines. The first line and the last line have 5 syllables, not 5 words, 5 syllables. And the middle line has 7 syllables. So you have to be very careful that you're not counting words, you're counting syllables when you write a haiku. And next week, I'm going to have, or maybe even later this week, have some assignments where you're going to write your own haikus. But they are 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. So let's look at a haiku. And as I said, a haiku usually talks about something in nature. Summer has arrived. So let's count this with syllables. Summer has arrived. So let's count it out. Summer has arrived. So how many syllables are in the first line? Summer has arrived. So there we have 3 words, but we have 5 syllables. Crickets and grasshoppers play. So let's count it out with our hands. Crickets and grasshoppers play. Now let's do it counting with the fingers. Crickets and grasshoppers play. How many syllables did we have? We have 7 syllables, even though we only have 4 words. I love the outdoors. So let's clap it. I love the outdoors. Let's count it. I love the outdoors. How many syllables do we have? We have 5 syllables. So this is called a haiku. It's about nature, and we have 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. And again, we're going to have an opportunity later in the week to write your own haiku. All right, we're going to continue on right now, and we're going to practice our pronouns. All right, so we're going to begin with the subject pronouns, because these would be pronouns that would be in the subject part of the sentence. 3, 2, 1, begin. I, you, he, she, it, we, they. Let's move to the objective pronouns. These would be found after the verb. 3, 2, 1, begin. Me, you, him, her, it, us, them. And then the possessive pronouns, saying that something belongs to someone. 3, 2, 1. My, mine, your, yours, his, her, hers, its, our, ours, their, theirs. Now, let's take a moment and count how many subjective pronouns there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 subjective pronouns. Let's count how many objective. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 objective pronouns. Let's count how many possessive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, what I would like for you to do is line up with, let's see how I want to do this. Let's have all of the girls, if they're there, hopefully, all of the girls, plus Matthias, Peyton, and Vincent in one line, and everyone else in a second line. And now, if you see on the board, we have the word subjective, objective, possessive, and we have two sets. What you're going to try to do is to write all of the correct words in the correct column and see which row or which team can get all of the pronouns in the right place. Remember, it's 7, 7, and 11. So you're going to have to keep going until you have them all. If it's your turn and you see a mistake, you can erase it and put it in the right place. And once you are all finished writing and you think everything is good, well, Mrs. Osborne will have you sit down and check the board. All right, hopefully you had some fun with that and that you were able to figure out what the words were that you were going after. Now, I want to play a little game with you. You're going to need your whiteboard. I'm going to give you a word, and then I'm going to give you 5 letters in the alphabet. And I want you to write an adjective that starts with each letter that I give you. And so we're going to start with the word cow, and we're going to use the letters A through E. So that means A, B, C, D, and E. So I'm going to tell you to get ready, get set, go. 5 adjectives, starting with one with A, one with B, one with C, one with D, one with E. All right, time. Now, I know that everyone could have had different words written, but I'm going to tell you my adjectives. Average, brown, cold, dead, excited. Those were my adjectives for cow. Now we're going to use the word rainbow. And we're going to take the noun rainbow and we're going to write adjectives for the word rainbow with the letters F through J. So F, G, H, I, and J. Ready? Begin. All right, time. The words I had: funny, gorgeous, high, incredible, jolly. Now we're going to take the word tree and we're going to write adjectives for the word tree, starting with the letter K and going to the letter O. So KLMNO. So those are the letters we're going to use to write adjectives for tree. Ready? Begin. All right, stop. My words were knobby, lovable, moist, nut, oak. The next word we're going to write adjectives for is the word star. Star. And we're going to do the letters P through T. So PQRST. Begin. All right, stop. Perfect, quaint, radiant, shiny, tiny were my words. Now, the last one that we're going to do, and it might be the most challenging as far as the letters go, is the word mountain. So we're going to come up with adjectives for the word mountain, and we are going to use the letters U through Z. U through Z. And begin. Give you about 10 more seconds to come up with some words. All right, stop. For you, I had ugly, vast, wide, yonder, zigzag. Now I'm going to go back to my X because the word is xenolithic. Say that word with me. Xenolithic. And what it means is an igneous rock formation, which igneous rock we talked about earlier this year in our science class. So we have the word xenolithic. Now I have to be honest, I looked that up trying to find an X adjective. So if you wrote X-ray mountain, yeah, maybe it wouldn't quite make as much sense as using a different word for it, but there's a new word for us, xenolithic. And then as we look at all of these words have to do with nature, and they would work well in a haku. And as we write our hakus later on, and even as we think about them today, we need to remember that God is the God of creation and that He has created all of these items in nature for us to enjoy and to bring glory to Him. So hopefully you had a little bit of fun with. All right, let's go on to something else. Whenever we make a singular noun possessive, we add apostrophe S. When we make a plural noun possessive, we look at the last letter of. All right, so what I want you to do with your whiteboard is I want you to go from puppy to ruler to Miss Scott. I want you to number them. All right. 1, 2, 3, so on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then next to the number, I want you to put whether you think it's just an S or if it's an apostrophe S. All right, number 1 should have been apostrophe S. Number 2, apostrophe S. Number 3, apostrophe S. Number 4, apostrophe S. Number 5, apostrophe. Grace is apostrophe S. Trees is apostrophe. Cyrus is apostrophe S. So hopefully you did well on that. All right, here we go with one of my favorite things to do. We're going to mark the sentence for diagramming. We're going to mark the sentence for diagramming. So first of all, let's find our verb. Let's find our verb. Okay, and you don't have to write the sentence out, but we're going to do this. The verb would be made. The verb would be made. Who made? Cousins made. Okay, cousins made. Okay, so now let's go look at the other words in the sentence. My would be a what, class? Adjective describing cousins. 3 would be an adjective describing cousins. Orange would be a adjective describing decorations. Blue would be an adjective describing decorations. Party would be an adjective describing decorations. And is a conjunction. Now, let's talk about parts of speech. We know this is subject. What kind of verb is made? Made is an action verb. Made what? Made decorations. So decorations is what part of speech? Following an action verb, it would be a direct object. So the first thing I want you to do on your whiteboard is I want you to draw what the horizontal line would look like. Just doing subject, action verb, direct object. What would that line look like? All right, we should have a straight line, which is really hard for me to draw on here. Let me try that again because that was not a very good straight line at all. Let me try again. See if I can get a little bit better at it. Well, sort of. It depends on where I am on the board. All right. So then we should have straight line here. And then we should also have a straight line here. So let's go ahead and you fill in the words that are going in these spaces. So we're doing our subject, our action verb, and our direct object. So here we should have cousins. Here we should have maid. And here we should have decorations. Now draw the lines for where your adjectives would go. Just draw the lines. All right, so we should have 2 lines under cousins, and we should have 3 lines under decorations, and then we should also, because it's part of the adjectives, have a dotted or slashed line. So here would be my 3 orange and blue party. Okay, so that is what that preposition, that diagram would look like. All right, now we're going to move on to a second one. A second one. All right, so the first thing I want you to do again is we're going to talk about marking the sentence. So what is my verb in this sentence? My verb is. What is? Bite is. Okay, so what would be? Would be an adjective describing bite. What would mosquito be? Mosquito would be adjective describing bite. So now we're left with the word itchy. What kind of word would itchy be? So what kind of verb do we have? We have a linking verb. Bite is itchy. Is it renaming bite or describing bite? It is describing bite, so it's a predicate adjective. So now draw your horizontal line only, demonstrating how you would show where itchy goes. All right, so we would have first a straight line, and we would have one straight line going vertical, but then we need to have a diagonal or a slanted line because we're dealing with a predicate adjective, not a direct object. Now draw the lines where your adjectives would go. And we would have a line here and a line here. Here we would have a B for the bite. Here is our verb, our linking verb. Is what, is itchy, is our predicate adjective. And then we would have the A for in a bite, and then the M in mosquito to describe what kind of bite it is. All right, let's turn in your books, please, to page, I think it's 164. Page 164. I forgot to write it down. All right, I want everyone to do all of section A. I want to start with Jace and have Jace, Brian, Kyle, and Moses come to the board and to do the work for the first 4 questions. And everyone do it. You're marking the sentence and then you're writing subject. If the pronoun is subject, you're writing OBJ for objective if it's objective, and then you're circling the correct pronoun. So just as a reminder, before the verb is subjective, after the verb is objective. So marking the verb first is important. Let's go ahead and do those 4 questions. All right, for number 1, we should have a line after pain before told, underlining Miss Payne once, told twice. The pronoun circled should be me because it comes after the verb, making it objective. Number 2, they, them are Japanese form of poetry. Are is the verb. So there should be a line before are and then are underlined. Now we need to choose the pronoun that would be the subject of the sentence, and that word is they. And they would be the subject pronoun because it comes before the verb. Number 3, blank and blank will write our own. What is the verb? The verb is will write. So we would have a line before will and then underline will write. Now, because we're doing pronouns before the verb, we're looking for the subjective pronouns. So we should have circled she, I, and they would be subjective. Number 4, Miss Payne will enjoy blank. What is the verb? The verb is will enjoy. And so we should have a line before will and then will enjoy underlined. Miss Payne is the subject. The pronoun is coming after the verb, so it needs to be objective, and the pronoun would be the pronoun them. Think B. Fill in the circle next to each sentence that has correct possessive words. So I want you to go ahead and do all 4 of those right now. Fill in next to the sentence that has correct possessive words. All right, you should have had sufficient time to do that. The first sentence is correct. It contains a possessive word. And the last sentence is correct. In sentence number 2, What are we looking at here? We are looking at a contraction. It has first and last first and last lines have 5 syllables. There should not be an apostrophe. It is not, it is. The second line's words would equal 7 syllables. Lines should be apostrophe S, not S apostrophe. Right, think C. Identify each bold word in the Haku by writing verb, noun, adjective, adverb, preposition, conjunction, interjection above the word. In cloudy water, something silvery shimmers. Gulp, lunch for a trout. So go ahead and do this first Haku, identifying what the dark, bold words are. And let's see, starting with Olivia and then going up to Allie's row, let's have 4 people come and put the parts of speech, and then we'll continue through the left side of the room doing all 4 Hakus. Go ahead and do all the bold print words telling me what parts of speech they are. So let's check the work that you've done. Cloudy is an adjective. Shimmers is a verb. Gulp is an interjection. And for is a preposition. Daily is an adverb. Faithfully is an adverb. And weeded is a verb. Across preposition. Sky noun. Approaches verb. My is an adjective. And is conjunction. Is interjection. I is pronoun. All right, so we're going to go to this last section, and I'm just going to let you know, just in case you can't see it on the board, that this first letter right here of this sentence is an N, is an N for nature. So I apologize if you can't see that. Nature is the subject of many Haku, but you could write a Haku about anything. So the first thing we need to do is to draw parentheses around prepositional phrases. So go ahead and identify your prepositional phrase by putting a parentheses around it. So we have about anything. So now we're going to mark the sentence for diagramming. So where is the verb? The verb is is. What is? Nature is. Okay, so we have the first part of our workings. Nature is. Sorry, I'm trying to pause it and my cursor won't go over the pause. Sorry, I needed to stop for just a moment. There's also a second prepositional phrase, of many Haku. Now you'll notice we have a subject and a conjoining word, so we need to look and see if there is a second subject-verb combination. But you could write a Haku about anything. So is there another verb? Absolutely. What is that verb phrase? That verb phrase is could write. Who could write? You could write. So we have 2 different things happening. So how would we draw our lines to do the first part? Okay, what would we do for our lines to do the first part? Nature is what? So we have subject, but nature is what? Nature is subject. So is it describing or renaming? It is renaming, making this a predicate nominative. So this is going to be a predicate nominative. Now let's look at the second half. But you could write. So you would be our subject. What kind of verb is could write? It is action verb. So you could write what? You could write Haku. Haku becomes what part of speech? Direct object. Now what I want you to do first is I just want you to draw the straight across lines that would take care of nature is subject. So just draw that horizontal line with the lines that are needed to show subject, verb, predicate, nominative. All right, so what is at the bottom right here is what you should have had. Straight line across horizontally, then one vertical line, and then one slanted line. Now go back and put in the line that would show where the adjective goes. Okay, and everyone should have been able to do that quite simply by putting it right there. Now, we have a compound sentence in the sense that we have a second subject and a second verb that we have to work with. So, I want you to go down here and I want you to do your horizontal line down here doing subject, action verb, direct object. So draw those lines. So at the bottom, we would have had a straight horizontal line and then one vertical line, one direct line. Now put the line where you need the adjective would be here. Now, the one thing remaining to do is what do we do with the conjunction? What do we do with that word? And what we do with it is we connect it by dotted or slash line and then a straight across line and then again dotted or slash lines. Sorry, it's a little hard to give you a break there. And the word but would go there. All right, that concludes the lesson for today. This should have been nature is subject the. You could write Haku with the word but being put here. All right, you can go ahead and clear away your language and get prepared for the next thing for the day.